Well, here we are. It is day 2. We've got all our materials put together and exactly what we are going to use. But on day 2 today, we're going to spend a lot of our time in Design Space. So you're going to have to go there and create a new project. Now, I have given you a template for this particular project, so you can go ahead and upload that, and then we're going to work in Design Space. And we're going to do some score lines, things that we need to have and why they are there. We're going to be adding some punch holes. Now, I've added the punch holes for you, but I want to explain why they are there and how we're going to do that, and duplicating our pieces as needed, so you have a good sense of how all these different parts and pieces all fit together. So let's head over to Design Space. Now, inside of Design Space here, all we have to do is click on Upload, and I have 2 things you need to upload. It's called CV Accordion Card, and the next one is CV Accordion Card 2. So you want those 2 templates to be added to the canvas. And they're fairly big. I'm just going to click away. Now one of them is going to slide over. It's all joined together, but that's okay. We will just move it into place. Now this one's also grouped together. Now with it grouped together like this, I'm just going to come over here to the layers, and I'm going to click on Ungroup. I'm going to click away. Now, I have score lines here. Now, what I can do is click on them one at a time here, or I can come over here to the accordion card in the Layers panel, and that will select the whole works. Now, you're working one of Bette's designs. Bette uses red for score lines, except for things like hearts. So this red score line now has to change from a basic cut to a score line. Perfect. So I want this piece in the Layers panel, which are my score lines, and the one right below it, which is the definite accordion piece. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click it, so it's selected all of this, and I'm going to attach it. Now we have 4 accordions we're using, and let me just explain a little bit. I'm just going to zoom down a little bit so you can see this a little better. Now I have 4 pieces. This is a 2-inch square. This one is 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, but this one is 1.5. Now the reason it's 1.5, this is going to be on the base of the card, and it's 1.5 inches because if I went 12 inches for the design, it would force you to use a long mat, and we don't want to use a long mat. Now we need 4 of these. Remember, I'm going to show you what you need to duplicate. So let me just hold down the Alt key. 2, 3, 4. Now I have 4 of these. I'm just going to group them together like this. I'm just going to group them, and I've got them up here, and I'm just going to turn off the group. And that's so I can start working with the other pieces and parts that we are working with right now. Now in Design Space, of course, we have to decide all kinds of different things on what we're going to do. Now I have these hearts, and the hearts are going to be on the inside of the card, and I will show you over on the demo table. They're going to be on the inside. If you can see these hearts on the inside, there's 2 on each of the accordions. So that means we're going to need 8 of those. I think you can see that okay. You can see those on the inside, yes. We're going to need 8 of those. So what we want to do is duplicate this so we have 8 of them. Now you can come to the top of the Layers panel here. I can click on, I need 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should have 8 of these all together now. I'm just going to gather those together so we're all ready for that part. I am going to group them, and then I'm just going to turn the eyeball off. And the reason I'm turning the eyeball off, because we have limited space that we're working with here. All right, next up, of course, we have our Love, L-O-V. Now this is the design I came up but I want you to create your own, and you're going to use everything that Cricut has designed for you. Now, the size of this one, the height is 1.2 and the width is 1.6. The O, of course, is 1.6 and almost 1.6, so it's almost a square. We're going to be working with smaller pieces here. And the reason is, let me just drag this one over. Is it on top? It has to fit on top of one of these squares. Not the small one, but the one in the middle. So you know you have to space it to fit in. Now let me come back out here a bit. 0.75 is a little hard to work with. Let's go to 1.25. Here we go. So first thing you want to do, you want to come up with text. And of course, we're going to have an L. And let's take a look at what fonts Cricut has to offer. Let me type in heart, see what they've got. I've got several different heart ones. I've got one with the heart cut out little bits. It's called BFC Lovers Hearts. Close to my heart, and there's a nice thin one, that's a writing one. Now I'm just going to change that to love and to see what we get. And it comes up with that same one. This one's a little bit different as well. And you'll notice that, let's see what we've got under chunky. It's chunky. Celebration. It's coming up with the same one. So let's try Valentine. And it doesn't seem to have any. So we're going to go back to love. And we have several to choose from. As you notice, I can scroll way down, and this is all from Cricut. Now, you may have uploaded some of your own. So if I clicked over here to System and typed love, you will get a whole different set, and that will depend on what you've uploaded to your own system. Some of the free fonts you've grabbed from Font Bundles or Creative Fabrica will all be listed inside of here. As you see, I've got a bigger choice for the things that I have here. But I want you to stick with Cricut right now, and the reason is most of you will have Cricut access, so you will be able to pick out some of these. Now, let's try this one. Let's go to BFC Lover's Heart. Let me click away here. I really don't like that one. Let's go back up here. Let's see what else has some hearts inside of it. If there is anything. I don't have a lot. So maybe love is not the best way to go. What I want to do then is maybe come up with a decorative font and see what they have in that list that might fit a little more about what I want. Look at this one, has hearts inside of it. It's called Pepperminty. Let's just take a look and see what that one is like. Pepperminty. Actually, that is not too bad. It's something we could probably use. All right. One more little check here. This is all decorative. That one's got snowflakes. That one's Halloween. There are some really interesting ones. There's some stars on this one. You know, there's a lot of choices here, so it really has a lot here. Let's see. I'm just scrolling down to see if there's anything that really catches our eye that I think will work extremely well. Some of them are pretty strange. Now there's this folk art festival. We have one that's many colors. As you can see, there's a lot of choices, and Cricut is really good at providing you with a ton of choices of what you want. Now you do have to be an Access member to get to some of these, so you may have to choose a font of your own if you are not an Access member. And let's see, that one's not too bad. How about this one? Let's see, click away. Now I kind of like that one. That one for the L, and of course I want to make sure the size is correct. Now the L here, the size 1.4 in height, This one is 0.9. So let's change the height here to 1.4. And then, of course, I just want to drag this over here, see if it fits, and yes, it does. All right, I don't like black, so let's change this to a nice red. Now, I want to now have an O and a V. So let's just click on text, type our O. That looks really good for our O. Now I'm going to take a look at, now that's a pretty small O. We can make it any size we want, but that one is pretty tiny. So let's see if we made this 1.6 as well. It makes it a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Now I'm going to use red again, but you can use any color you want. And of course the last text, I should have had a V in here. There we go, V. I've got LOV. Maybe I should have made this a U. Let's make it a U instead. There we go. And this one is pretty small. Once again, I want the height pretty consistent, so I'm going to make this 1.6 as well. And then, of course, I'm going to change the color. And that will be the LOV you are going to use. 1.6 still fit? Yep. Now that one looks a little small compared to the others. It's 1.4, so I'll make it 1.6. Want to have them as consistent as possible. Now I'm not going to use these, so what I want to do is delete them. Now I need 4 of these, one for each of the accordions, as I'll show you on the demo table here. We have a love, LUV, 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 and LUV. So we know we need 4 sets of these. So next thing we want to do, of course, I'm going to hold the Alt key down once I've selected them all. 1, 2, 3. I'm letting go of the mouse button. 4. Great. So let's group these. And once again, I'll just turn the eyeballs off because we know those 3 groups we're going to use a little later. Now it's time to bring over our other pieces here, and this is where we're going to do a little bit of work. Now I'm going to have to go in, let's go minus, so we can see everything on the screen. No, it's not quite. We'll have to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Now if you want to have one-to-one, so you know you see exactly what you get, you can go to 150%, and that will give you an inch to an inch. Right now, what we have to do is ungroup all of this, and we'll notice that, you know, we have different sizes here. This one goes over top of this one, and this one will go over top of this one. As you'll see, that's our stack. So this is the one that is on the very top. This is our patterned paper, all right? Patterned paper. So I'm just going to change the color for that, and I'll just make it a yellow for now. And that is what is going to be our pattern paper. This one in the middle is the one that is going to be our secondary color. So I'm going to make it just purple here for now, and that's just so that we know that they go in this order. Now we only need 1 of each of these. Now we're going to come back to this part. Once we have put our accordion together, the accordion goes together, we need 2 what we call brace straps. So all I have to do is duplicate this one, and I want it to be the same color as our base, which happens to be the blue. And maybe I should change these to red just so that we know what we're working with. Okay, let's make these red. It's our base. This goes together, it's red, that's our base. And that's just so we can visually see what we're doing. So the purple comes on top, and then the yellow comes on top of that. Now, we have all of our base. What we need now, of course, is the small circle is going to be our, the small circle here is going to be our pattern. So I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to change it to yellow. And of course, this is going to be the secondary color, and I am going to change that to the purple. All right, so now we have all the little parts and pieces that we're going to work with. Our next part is going to be deciding on what we're going to do here. I am going to eliminate the 2 by 2 square because if you glue on 2 by 2 on a 2 by 2 piece, it's really tough to fold it. So we're not going to use this one. If you make some on your own, perhaps you'll use it, but not for this project. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. Now, for the pattern pieces, that would be this one and this one. We could decide which way we want to go for our pattern piece. I tend to use a larger one for the pattern piece, and the small one would work okay, but I tend not to use that so much. So I'm going to eliminate the small one and we're going to use just the one size. Now, on our accordion, we have 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside of different colors. So the pattern piece, we want 2 on the outside, and I am going to show you on the demo table. So this is our pattern piece, 1, 2 on each of the accordions. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So that's a pattern piece on each of the accordions. So I need 8 of those and we want them as pattern. So let me just take a copy of this and put it over here. I'm going to change it to yellow because it's going to be the same as our top pattern. Now I need 8 of these. So we've got 1, Alt key down, mouse button, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can just grab all 4 of those and hold the Alt key, click, and get my 8 together. And those are all the pieces that we are going to need for the pattern. Now, we also have things that are on the inside, and we have other things that are on the outside. Now, for an extra pattern piece or our secondary piece, I just want to show you where we're going to use that. Now, on our secondary color, in this case it's the second one here, we have 1, 2, 3 under each of the letters. Now that is our secondary color. So we've got 3 of those on each. That's 3, 6, 9, 12 for the letters. And then if you look on the inside here, we also have it behind the heart. So we need 2, 4, 6, 8. So we need 12 and 8. We actually need 20 of those on the secondary color. So that's what we're going to have to do, is make 20 of those. And it's going to be this color. Now I'm just going to change this color. Now I need 20 of these. So let me just make 5 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. So I'm going to take this. I need 5, 10, 15, 20. All right, so we have all of these bases set up. We have all the little pieces that we are going to need. Let me just move this over here. I'm not going to group those. Maybe I should. Let me group that. And then I'm going to group this as well. Okay, let me just group all the yellows together, and that way I've got everything I need in yellow. And I am going to group all of my purples together. Let me just group those. So now I've got the yellow group and I've got this group. Now what I need to do is, let me just go find the ones that we hid. Let's start with this one. There's our LUVs. Whoop. So we have all of those coming out in red. And let's ungroup the next one. Those are all the hearts, and that should be the same color as all of these. So let me just change that color so everything matches, because I want it to come out of the same paper. Perfect. All right, now one last thing to ungroup. these are going to be out of the base color as well. So the big thing here is we need to change what that color is going to be. So I'm going to click on each one of these here. Let me go down to the bottom. You can see all the blue pieces. I'm going to click on the first one, hold the shift key down for the second, shift key third, and where's our last one? Shift key fourth. Now up here in operation, I can see the color that I want. So let me just click that color. And away we go. All right, that's most of what we want right now. However, we want some treatment under these. Now, I've already duplicated them, so I'm going to ungroup those. Ungroup, great. Now, what we really want to do here is make an offset. Now, we have 2 inches to work with, so let's grab our offset. And that's not a bad offset. Let's apply it. And I'm going to then change that to white. Because we want a print then cut, I don't want all these little pieces cut out. So let's grab that together and let's flatten it so it becomes a print then cut. So I needed 4 of those, so I can get rid of these extra ones. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can get rid of my V's here. I'm going to do the same thing with the U. I'm going to hit that offset, and you see I have an extra hole here. I'll just show you what to do. So let's apply this first, and then we're going to come over here to contour. I'm going to hide all contours so it goes away. Click away. You notice that little hole is gone. I'm going to change the black to white, and then I am going to then select all of my U, and I'm going to flatten it. Now let's check the height on it. Now the height here is 2.062. That is bigger than we can have. So let's change this back to 1.75 and see what we get for width. We have 1.82. It's still a little big, so let's choose our 1.6 here, and that looks pretty good. All right, so I need 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now let's get rid of this. Now let's choose our L. And once again, we want to come to the offset. We're going to apply it. And of course, I'm going to check here and make that white. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to flatten this, and then I'm going to check my size. Well, this is height of 2.1. Well, we don't want that, so let's do our 1.6 so everything matches. Now I'm going to check and see if that is too small for what we want. It's pretty small. Let's check our V here just to make sure we have the right size. Its height is 2.1. I'm going to make it 1.75. And I think that will work for each one of these. I should have checked it before, but I didn't. So we'll just go through. It is a matter of checking everything twice when you're doing a large project like this. 0.75, and then of course the last one here is going to be 1.75. Now, I don't like the height of this. It is way too small. I've got 1.6. Let's change that to 1.75. Now, once again, I'm just going to take it over here and take a look. Now, that's a better L than we had. Okay, let me get rid of the extra L's I don't need. I need 3 more of these. Alt key, drag, lift up the button, drag, drag. I've got all 4. So now we are ready to get everything together when we go over to make it. But I wanted to make sure you had everything like this. Now, tomorrow, even though we're going to put the accordion together and we're going to cut some things, I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks about cutting when you've got so many different things happening and how that's going to best work for you and how we can make that happen the easy way. So we're working all on one or two mats and not a lot of mats. So I will see you tomorrow when it's time to make this.